how much should you charge? So if you're going to charge for your service, and let's say your service is videography, well, the main things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look up industry standard. Industry standard for a video is 1,500 per minute of shot and edited footage, right? And that's just, you know, the average. A Google search of this and then a screenshot of this can be shown to a client, and you can, you know, it's verifiable, you know, and so having verifiable industry standards. And so having verifiable industry standards is a really good thing for you to, you know, use in your pitch, especially when you're trying to show that you're trying to give somebody a deal or you're trying to give somebody something that they can use, you know, that they can say, oh, wow, this guy really is helping me out. If that's the industry average, if that's the industry standard, then man, I'm getting a deal. The more that you can make somebody feel like they're getting a deal, the better it is for you, obviously, and the better it is for them. But the truth is you still have to make money. You still have to make something. So if you're trying to make something, then what you really need to do if you're trying to make a living doing this is you're trying to find the happy medium of how much is too much and how much is going to keep them coming back, and then how much is too little. Because too little, obviously, you're not making enough. They might use the service over and over, but they're not necessarily going to treat it with any value. They're not going to respect you. They're not going to really appreciate what you're doing for them. Whereas if it's too much, it's just too much. They can't afford it, or they can use it once and that's it. Taking somebody for everything they have is not always the best idea, especially when it comes to trying to get clientele and trying to keep clientele. So you need to find that happy medium. Now, what I just said was people like to be valued, and people don't always value something that's cheaper. Because it's cheaper, usually people think that that means it's not valuable, right? It's not valued. If it's too little, it's not good, you know, which is not the case, right? It really isn't. Sometimes people are trying to get started, or sometimes people really are giving you kind of a break, or they decide, hey, I want to work harder, you know, not harder, I want to work more. They think I want to work more. So they're willing to charge less and get more clients than maybe charging more and getting fewer clients. They don't want to deal with the hassle of that. So they decide, hey, I'm going to do it this way instead. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But the fact is that if you're going to charge in that happy place, in the happy medium, you have to base it on the person, especially when it's in this business of a service. You have to be careful about how you put it, how you're really targeting it. You're trying to help this person. That's the first and foremost thing you're trying to do. If you're just trying to make money, there are easier ways to make money than to do movies or to do videos for other people. But if you're trying to do something to help them out, then you really need to help them out. So then when you're trying to find out what to charge, you also need to look at your area, right? How much is it likely to charge? If you move to a small area with low income, you know, and nobody's making a lot of money, and you try to charge out the ass, you're obviously not gonna make any money. Whereas if you go to a high-end place and you charge too little, you're not gonna be valued. So you have to look at there's many different things, and it's all about pre-production and tactical, looking into what you're trying to make and trying to make the best business decision. Remember, if it makes money, it makes sense. So you're trying to make money, so you need it to make sense. And then the other part of it is, when you're charging, how much is it going to take for you to do the job? What does it entail? Is it something super, super easy? Is it something that you just knock out? Awesome. But if you can just knock it out and you show them that you can just knock it out super fast, they might think, okay, well, now you can knock it out over and over and over. Now all of a sudden you're now required to do it at that pace. So there's just a lot of different factors. One of the best things you can do is reach out to a filmmaker. I am a filmmaker. If you're listening to this right now, you're watching this right now, I am a filmmaker you could reach out to. And I will totally tell you, hey, this is what I think you should charge based on you. You know, other filmmakers, they charge for this sometimes they're cheap, or sometimes they're willing to work with you. Another thing is, call them out for coffee. Say, hey, could I ask you out for coffee and just pick your brain about this industry? That's a good way to start, and that's a good way to get somebody into it. So, how to charge, do your homework, figure it out.